Oh, okay.
Not to
We'll
say
give it a
Psycho can't
try.
play Hammond well, but we just like he was really confident in it. We're like, why not? It's Scrim as well.
Oh,
Mhm.
that'd be amazing.
Okay,
If
well,
you play,
one really fundamental thing about Hammond is that, especially with movement and with dive, you see as well, you have a Genji over a Tracer, that Hammond moves very fast for a very long time. So unlike Diva and Genji, he doesn't have to go at normal speed ever.
Right.
So it's very easy. In original dive, right? If Winston and Diva went at the same time, like three, two, one, go, you would land at the same time, or Diva would be a little bit behind. But with Hammond, if you three, two, one, go at the same time, Hammond will always land a lot further in and a lot faster than your Diva. So, for example,
Oh, incoming.
um,
They're on top right.
if you guys roll out from this here and you guys see them on that corner, you want to dive that. Diva cannot reach that very fast, but Hammond can. Neither can Genji. Genji, ideally, you want your Genji to be using the dash through them rather than to go into them because dash has burst damage. It's not just mobility like Diva's boosters like don't have as much burst potential and DPS than Genji's dash. So a lot of Genji's DPS kit is actually like from his dash. So this is an important thing when you're thinking about Hammond dives and setups. That Hammond, when you're doing the 3-2-1, you actually want to be landing at the same time as your Diva and your Genji dashing through here so that you get the huge burst damage. Because uh, Hammond's pile drive shoots them up into the air, and that's like a free Kajillion dashes for a Genji. Like you even see that people have been comboing this slam, the Hammond slam with Diva bombs because it knocks them into the air. It can knock some people like above a Rand shield, like for example.
Right.
So you have to, yeah, you have to really be careful with the timing of Hammond. So for example, for this map, and also one thing with Hammond that you can really utilize. I don't know if you're off tank or main tank. It's usually the main tank. Is looking to learn Hammond at this point. But one thing you can really utilize is the third person view. So if Hammond stays here, especially with a Sombra actually, if Hammond stays in this corner in ball form, he can actually scout this entire area and then call the dive. So the biggest advantage with Hammond is actually being able to dive, quote unquote, blindly, even though you can see. It's blind for your enemies. Like unlike a Winston, right? You'd have to like peek around a corner, see where they are, and then dive in. And then like you can kind of tell that a Winston's gonna jump in when he's doing that. But with a Hammond, like there's no way for them to tell if you use this third person really well. You can like hide in a place where they can't see it, and then just peek around this corner with the third person view and just dive it for free. And they won't even know what comp you're running at this point, which is really strong for especially with Hammond tempo because not many people know when a Hammond is coming at this point, or not many people are used to how fast a Hammond is at initiating. So you can really use that to your advantage. Um, this is just like I haven't even started the VOD, but these are just like things that we've been experimenting with Hammond on my team.
Cool.
So and you can get like really creative with it as well. But the Hammond burst potential with the Genji is really strong. So
Top left a little bit to the Diva.
sorry, I got
Get
back
a
to
little
you.
bit alt.
Every Tuesday at 7 we do
Got
random
the
team
rat stand.
scrims. If you want to join in
Start pushing
sometime.
in. I might actually roll to the left. I'm gonna go on point. Get them distracted. They're gonna pull. They're gonna. Alright. On point. They're now. Yep. They're starting to pull back now.
you should eat the fire strike.
Yeah, they're putting back. Here they go.
Thank you,
Alright.
guys.
Push.
So as Hammond, when you're going into a space, I don't know, like this might be relevant if you guys just want to like start experimenting with Hammond play and stuff. But usually you do want to initiate with the power driver and then like use the grapple in here. But right now, a lot of people, even like the GM main tanks that I've been coaching, really struggle with the Hammond grapple length.
Right.
So I would say like really experiment with it in like custom games, just in like a map by itself. Experiment how the weird thing is that the grapple becomes a radius, right? So if you're grappling from here, for example, it like the length stays the same throughout the whole thing, and people are not used to this this horizontal plane becoming the vertical plane as well. So that really screws people over. But that's just like Hammond stuff.
Right,
Um,
right.
So right here, you're making lots of your fire is actually making lots of space, but you're not actually contributing a lot of space as tanks because you didn't like 3-2-1 dive something. The strength of this comp is not actually for space. It's actually to instantly delete something because between this Diva micro missiles, the Hammond power driver and hit scan, and then your Genji, you should be able to burst 200 health really really easily. Um, so that's what you would be looking for here. Um, so right now you're kind of playing it slow into a death ball, which is what they kind of want, right? Against a Junkrat, against Reinhardt, they want to be able to chip you down. That's like the win condition. So like ideally, the faster you go and the faster you can delete something and then get out or keep engaging because they can't chase you with your mobility. They can't actually chase you with the comp they have. So you have to use that to your advantage. So you can take these fights really fast, but it requires you guys to be like very organized. Not only organized, but all have the same idea of what this comp is for and how to run it. So if you all have the mindset, okay, we need to delete something. Let's call something and we'll delete it. You can even delete this Reinhardt because Ryan is very vulnerable. If you like, you can easily get behind the shield, easily pressure him with a fire as well. So it doesn't matter what you really pick, but as long as you have the same mindset as okay, whatever's called, we kill, then you'll probably beat this comp. But the slower you play it and the slower you like go in one by one, the more it is to their advantage.
On Ryan, right?
So they have like a kind of Gertz.
Alright, Ryan's up. Nice, good shot. Good.
Nice.
Ryan's down.
Right.
Alright, there we go. Pushing on them.
Mario's low. On point.
Zarya's down, almost. Zarya's almost down.
Yeah,
Zarya's
so
down.
even here, right? The Fricus fire looks very split. Like you kind of just shoot what's in front of you, and I'm not really hearing like, okay, this target. Like if we ran this comp, like you probably, I'm not sure if you've heard like pro Korean scrim comms, but when they're running dive and like Koreans always run dive, they're like, oh, this right. That should be always
Monkey.
yeah. That should
Yeah,
always
like
be
screaming it.
what is here. Right. And right now you can't really hear any calls. I mean like there's maybe like one every 1 or 1.5 seconds. But ideally you
Yeah.
want to be like all on the same target and looking for the same thing. Especially if you have an Ana and something's antied. Like look how easily this can be bested down if you guys just look at the same target.
Right.
And then next, like you can even kill this Moira because she in Coalescence, Moira like has increased regen, but you can burst her down pretty fast because her mobility is more predictable and she can't fade. Even a Moira who just faded is really easy to kill, and that's why fire is really strong actually. Because the Fricus fire can be just very strong with a fire, especially against the comp they're running. Like it was like kind of Gertz. So yeah, Fricus fire.
You mentioned this last VOD review as well that we should. The last game we played, I think our comps were a bit better. We've got a new guy in our team who's playing here, so it was a bit awkward, truth be told.
Yeah.
But even still, even with our better comms, you were saying that we need to be more chatty. Well, you didn't use the word chatty, but like say more stuff because it gives information to the engine. If you will.
Yeah. Especially in dive, because you want to be quick. Especially against Gertz, if you're playing dive against Gertz, naturally it will fall into the advantage of the tankier side because the longer you take and the more mistakes you make, the more it swings to the advantage of the slower comp. So to minimize the amount of time and mistakes you make, you need to call more and be on the same target and be on the same page so that you're executing whatever your plan is fast as you can. Does that make sense?
Right.
Zarya down. Alright, pushing back.
So
Lucio's
this
almost
Lucio,
down.
yeah, he dies pretty like
Alright, Moira's
easily.
down almost. Well, she's on one left. So
Even without like
gonna
the
be down.
huge Fricus fire.
There you go. Nice. I'm gonna keep them busy.
Oh, it's 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Is that US? Like,
So that's fine. They
East
played
Coast,
like pretty
USA?
messy, like to be honest, like playing a tank comp, they didn't really utilize their Ryan shield that much or the defense matrix. So I don't know, maybe this team doesn't really know how to play the tank comp against mobility, especially on this map when you have like so much high ground. You're against Safara. It's actually pretty hard. But yeah. On other maps, like I don't know if you'd run it on like, for example, like Koreans run dive on King's Row.
The Reinhardt is
Right.
You'd have to be like very articulate with your dives.
Reinhardt, stop right.
I'll go in with my sword. Let them use that.
Wasted.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't misclick.
What a diva bomb.
They just use
Nice,
the.
thanks. Alright, I'm gonna roll them out of the way, guys.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, go. Knocked out of the way. Moira's pushed us all the way up point. She is all by herself if you can get her. Reinhardt, here you go. Have a present.
So there's just an example. There's a Moira call on point, and you have boosters here, so you can easily change target to that Moira who has no fade. This is like an example of comms response. Obviously, I can't see anyone else because it's a POV, but this is a good example
Going on point.
of making, especially in dive, making sure that everyone's listening and responding, because you can be listening, but it doesn't mean you'll respond.
Right.
So,
There you go.
Junkrat low and behind.
Yeah. Lucio's almost down.
what a riptide.
Lucio's almost down.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Lucio's dead.
Okay, get
On
a tick,
point.
get a tick. Nice tick.
Tick there. Keep going if you can.
Two ticks. Nice work. 3 ticks.
Yeah, it's good to use Wrecking Ball to split them up. There was like a pretty good like win condition because the more split up they are, especially because you have a Pharah and a Genji, it's like easy to single out targets.
Right.
So it's good.
There we go. Reinhardt. Super launched. There we go. Pushing
So
the
you
back.
get 2 ticks. That's pretty value for.
Back out. Back out.
Yeah.
There we go. Back. Pull him back. Pull back. Okay, cool.
I can launch in an ulti
two
when we're
ults.
ready.
They've now got a Widow.
Widow top right.
Top right.
Yeah.
Let's go. Annoying Widow.
We're not grouped yet.
Yeah, Widow's now pushed back.
We're not grouped yet. Moira low.
They've now got Doomfist. Zarya going for Zarya. They've now got Doomfist trying to counter me, I think.
Okay.
Reinhardt.
I guess something with Diva Bombs that I'm really stressing to Breezy our off tank. And it's actually like really worked well for him. Is this use of bomb. So you actually get more value out of bomb as a reset of mech, especially in dive, because if you want to dive really deep, you kind of use it as like a primal, right? If you want to dive in really deep, a monkey can with primal, because it's very hard to punish 1500 HP with a shield as well. That's like that's more than 2000 health that they need to burst with this monkey dive. And then same with the Diva mech, right? If you dive in, they melt you, and you use mech to reset, you actually get a bit more value in the dive, because this has a similar kill potential in dropping a bomb whenever like you're about to die, as opposed to dropping it in an initiation, especially because they have a Ryan shield. So
Yeah, okay, you use your health first.
yeah. So then you actually get like you get 2 lives from this bomb, as well as the kill potential of this bomb, as opposed to just the kill potential. But it's probably good to use this bomb, especially on this point, with an EMP or with a Brig stun. So if you want to coordinate, everyone hides behind this shield, right? For example, you drop in a bomb and your Brig stuns as the bomb explodes, everyone dies. So unless you have a combo with the bomb, it's pretty hard to get value out of it as an initiation. You actually make more space using boosters in with your Winston onto here. Like, for example, if you want to make space on point and there's a Reinhardt there, you actually make more space using boosters into a Reinhardt with your Winston jumping in, or your Hammond jumping in, and then you using bomb when you die, than actually throwing a bomb in, if that makes sense. In the long run, you make more space and pressure by using this bomb as a second life. On average, because obviously there are some bombs that can turn out really well for you guys. That comes out to decision making again.
I think.
Again here, like target focus. There's one guy here. There's a few up there. This guy's on these guys. This guy's on this guy. So, the more split your target focuses, they will actually out sustain you 100% of the time, because they have tanks. and a Moira. And
Wow.
because they want to play slow game, this Widow, every second you waste, the Widow has a chance to get a one shot on someone. Right.
Oh, question here.
Yeah.
So the widow, since the widow's in the back left corner there, do you think we should have initiated this fight by diving her with our diving, like our Genji diva, instead of just me as Genji trying to do it?
Yeah. Even if the Winston, because okay, you have to think about the resource of Widow. It's like if you have the line of sight, you get a chance to one shot. So, and Widow's only mobility is the grapple, which has increased in cooldown recently. So it's you get more time to kill this Widow actually. So one thing you can do is wait for her to grapple somewhere on high ground, and then dive her, and then she can't run. Especially because they have a Moira, there's no long range healing or peel, unless the Moira is like right next to her, which the Moira won't usually be. Like, look where the Moira is usually, like around tanks. Won't usually be bucketing a Widow. So one, you can wait for grapple and get a free kill on her. The second one is if she's sitting in the back, not everyone actually has to be on her. A Genji is enough to kill her, but what really helps is if the Widow's here, she's mostly likely gonna fall down to like low ground if you dive her. If a Winston places bubble here, it denies all of pressure for a Widow for 600 health and gives you a bigger chance of killing her as Genji. So it's all about playing your resources.
Right, right.
Because if this Winston places bubble here, does the Widow have to die instantly? No, because the sight line's already blocked. She's blocked for like maybe 4 or 5 seconds, and this Winston can freely pressure back here, and this Genji can continue killing this Widow or help pressure the tanks. So
Right.
in this position for bubble, like I think it was this team I was talking to bubble usage. This is a very valuable bubble because it's offensive and splits up the team like really well on this map. Moira can't heal through shields anymore. So this also stops a lot of peeling for this Widow. So it's a good thing to do. Denying space with bubble, applying pressure and relieving pressure from your team from this Widow by denying sightlines. So I guess that helps if you want to think about like, oh, how do we counter this Widow? Think of like strip it down to the fundamentals and bare bones of why is this Widow actually scary? It's an open sightline, and they're playing a slow comp. Without the sightline, she can't really do much. With a bubble blocking peel, she's a pretty free kill. Like you can start to like weigh up your their weaknesses and what they're strong at. So like I was saying before, the slower you take the fight, the better it is for them. Yeah. It's
Cool.
pretty hard to actually instantly kill this Widow because the jump range is so big for a Winston, or maybe with a Hammond you can make it. But a Diva is gonna struggle getting here. That's why I wouldn't opt to, okay, let's kill this Widow unless she doesn't have grapple. Because it's very easy for a Widow up here to just grapple back into spawn, and then you can't catch her anymore because you've used mobility. I would look at shutting her down like you would shut down an Ana. Place bubble, they're denied for like 4 or 5 seconds.
Okay.
Reinhardt is almost down. Reinhardt's low. Reinhardt is low.
So this Ryan's really low, but your Diva hasn't looked at the Ryan.
Didn't he still have armor?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's got armor in that.
Reinhardt is almost down.
He's getting pocketed by
Reinhardt is low.
the
Yeah, he's like full health then.
yeah, he's full health
He
now.
wasn't before that.
Yeah, he was pretty low here.
He ran across the map at like 5.
Down,
I
Reinhardt's
remember
low.
that. It was so frustrating.
Yeah, I remember this one.
is low.
It's actually really strong here if you can call your antis as well. Antis will win you games.
Right.
Even on like on defensive, it's super freaking
What's
strong.
an anti?
Anti-nade.
Ana grenade.
Ah,
That might have been me, I think it was.
It's really
Yeah,
strong in
you're
a dive because especially against this Moira Lucio against tanks, if you get an anti-heal on a Ryan, you can actually melt him in the same way that you would melt a 200 HP target because he has no healing. Um, especially with dive when you can just get behind the shield.
Right.
It's
deploying
really
bombs.
strong.
Both supports are down.
Cool.
Make sure to be using all of your resources.
Back out.
Alright, backing out. Bombs are still on field, I think. I just need a couple heals though.
They're all down. They're all.
Ana is still there.
We're all dead.
Yeah.
I have rally. Yep.
You have rally? Sweet. Look out, left side.
It's good that you're talking ults. I think this is a good improvement.
Alright. Watch out for that Widow again.
Yeah.
They have sights on us.
Alright, Widow. I'm gonna go for Widow. I'll keep it.
So here, they probably have Grav. You didn't mention that. I would just be like, Diva, eat the Grav. I'm like really big on Divas eat everything. So yeah, it's pretty cool if you eat a Grav. It's like very rewarding.
They've knocked off point.
Fist is low on point. Nice.
Focus Ryan.
There we go. Reinhardt is almost down.
Ah,
Reinhardt
good.
is very
Not bad
low.
focus
Reinhardt-
fire. You
Oh,
can
this is the time when he jumped across. Yeah.
you can boost this here and melee him and he dies.
Yeah, you can.
But then he gets speed drop.
There we, oh, Reinhardt not dead.
She's still okay.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Zarya's down. Nice work. Lucio.
So here again, you can just use it when you're low health, as well as you comboed a Diva Bomb, which is a zoning ult with a blade, which requires people to be there. So they're kind of productive that you're clearing the space into a Genji blade, which requires people to be there.
Right.
Unintentional
Nice work.
comboing of things that
Lucio,
don't mix.
Lucio, being annoying.
That's like when you use Primal to knock them away, and then you blade, so then there's no target. But you can actually use Primal to knock people in the same area. So you can actually be really smart with those ult combos.
Moira. Oh. Moira.
Was that a barrage?
Yeah, it was.
You should call that barrage because if you hold Matrix on a barrage, you're basically unkillable. Just as
Right.
as a plan. Also, if you're barraging that low, it's actually strong for you because the Moira can heal you, and this break can save armor pack for you, and you can basically live forever.
Right.
You'll see that a lot in Overwatch League. That if you have barrage, they'll plan for it. Both teams will plan for it, and both divas will just hold Matrix above this.
Yeah.
And basically, whoever runs out first loses.
Moira.
Because like you do have full Matrix here, I think. So you're definitely you can be saved.
I'm
Moira.
dead now.
Moira down.
Yeah,
Oof.
Well done.
guys.
Nice good work.
this is fine.
Saya. Diva.
Yeah, this is a very strong comp. Usually we like to actually. So you prefer? I'm guessing you prefer the Ana over like a Mercy or a Moira. If that's your hero of choice, then it's fine.
No, not really. I was just because it was a scrim, I decided to pick up Anna.
Yeah.
We're just experimenting a bit.
Yeah, I think.
I'm more comfortable with her again.
Yeah, we
Well,
did switch it up for this round. Like a few of us played different characters, I think.
Ana Brig with an Orisa is actually surprisingly very, very strong because Brig is such good peel for Ana that she can like basically stay alive forever, which like you don't usually get.
Even as just two support, not with a.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because firstly the burst Ana healing from the Nano is something you can farm every fight if you're like basically main support Ana.
Yep.
Especially if you rotate an Orisa Hog, or like Diva's fine as well. If you rotate your body, because Horizon is like the tricks are like doorways, right? They're like very narrow doorways. So the way you the reason why people run a lot of Orisa in these doorways is because the shield blocks an entire doorway. That's the first thing. But if the shield breaks, Orisa, we do this rotation where Orisa fortifies a trick. Then when she's low, she rotates back. Diva holds Matrix, and then gets low, and then rotates back for the Orisa, who gets shield again. And then basically you just keep rotating bodies, and it farms your Ana lots of ult, and then you can get Nano to win. And then while you're rotating bodies, your Junkrat spamming, your Reaper's getting picks, your Brig is getting stuns. So this is like what I said before against the other team, right? The slower you make the fight, the more it plays to your advantage, because you actually build ults faster than them. Especially this Nano, which can be game changing, right? in this situation. When you have a Reaper, when you have a Diva, when you have an Orisa, like the best healing is just really good. So yeah, that's the win condition of this comp.
Cool.
How is your Zarya?
Out of practice.
Not as good as
What
Lexus.
choice?
Oh, yeah, you can, if you want, you can go.
So Zarya Orisa is actually a bit weird. It's a bit clunky because it's not reliable charge because you're playing behind a shield and the shield is not it's not like a range shield where you can just drop it whenever you want or move it whenever you want. The Orisa actually has to move in front of shield and then move back to like get you charge. Also she has like a lot less health and she only has like 40 health of shields, which means the body rotation is a bit harder than a Diva or a Hog. And then you don't really have much to go into Grav because this is very easily Matrix, the Reaper ult, and this can get a 6k without a Grav. So, but you can actually Grav into an anti-nade, so I guess it can work. Another advantage of running Orisa Hog here is that you can pressure, Orisa Diva, is that you can pressure high ground as Diva, but you can't as Zarya. Hog can also pressure high ground a bit more than Zarya because of the hook. But Zarya is like almost I'd say like especially like
It didn't work well at all. Like it went terribly.
Well, like think about it in your dive, right? If you play dive into a Zarya and the Zarya just use personal and you get an anti onto her, it's like an insta kill, right? So Zarya is very vulnerable in this comp and adds to the vulnerability of having an Ana. So that's what I think.
Oh, yeah, you can, if you want, you can go.
You want to be playing this for a slow comp, and Zarya is not a slow hero. You want to be playing her for fast grab, offensive. It's a more offensive tank. Use these bubbles to initiate a push, or as well as giving you more DPS potential. All of which don't really work well with a slow comp, if that makes sense.
Can your stream hear us?
Because your charge will be reliant on them pressuring you rather than you pressuring them. Like think about where you apply Zarya, like King's Row. If you want to really push in with increased DPS pressure, and then your charge and DPS pressure actually relies on your aggression. But here you do not get to pick your aggression with an Orisa. It's you pick your defense, and they dictate the aggression, and you have to outlive them. So it's a very different playstyle.
It was really hard to get charged.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You gotta hit your right clicks.
Trouble is getting value out of it.
Yeah, it really is, man.
Yeah, just be as good as left.
Dude, it's a big choice, man. When to pop it.
You don't get charged from right clicks, do you?
No, you don't. He means ultimate charge.
Yeah.
I mean, even on this map, like you see right now, it's very hard. You want to be shooting those right clicks of Zarya to get lots of ult in crowd control, and it's very hard to get crowd control here. Like, you saw how you guys played the dive. It was very split, and that worked for you. Like, that's a good way to play dive is if you set up multiple points of attack and pincers around a shield, and that is not helpful as a Zarya to build ult as well. So you'll be getting grabs like 1 every 3 minutes. You'll get AKM grabs.
You know how many dances are
Oof.
Just because of it's not because you're AKM on Genji, but it's because of the nature of the comp. And the nature of the map is just very hard to get value.
That was a bit early. There we go. To your right, they're going right.
Yeah, see, like they didn't even shoot into it. And then Eurus is behind the shield.
Pull back. Reinhardt is... Reaper, Baguette.
Ooh.
Baguette almost down.
Nice charge.
Baguette is like, oh my god, they're...
So you see now, like, you don't outlast them at all.
No, and they ran the same comp again the next time they attacked on this map because we drew.
Yeah.
But we changed ours completely, and it was so much better.
Oh, okay. That's good. But I think it's good that I can explain to you guys why the resources don't fit in with each other.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it makes sense. You don't get to control the aggression, so you have no say in how much energy you get.
Yeah, you're basically relying on them to int into you to get charge, and by that time they've already inted. So even here, they're like
Destroy
walking
that
into
baguette,
you, and
man.
you only get half charge from that level. It's pretty hard. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Alright, tank's gone. So, oh shit, that didn't work.
Who are we focusing?
Ryan needs to go. He's so dead. The Ryan is dead. Okay, I'm dead too. But Ryan's down, so their tank's gone. Let's do your thing.
Sorry.
Come on, Zarya's so close to
Oh, that was close.
You forgot your bubble there, Ag.
Do we know how to play Doofus? Does anyone have?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Can
I'm trying to get on
stall?
point to do a little bit,
I
but
have
no.
barrage if we can stall.
Yeah, I got my ultimate too. So if we can get that barrage off with my ult, that nah.
Get
So,
flag, no!
that was really.
Yeah.
They had a good.
Yeah, we'll see what you
Alright,
do.
so we charge.
Yeah. 1 hour VOD review, probably get to do one map again.
That's alright.
It's like your average VOD review.
Got some good time on that one though.
Yeah.
6
Right.
minutes, 14 seconds. That's like. Oof.
Sorry, guys.
All right, you guys go.
Yep.
Cool. Draw to aggro a little bit.
So there's a rollout on Hammond that can actually pressure this very well. Is if you grapple here, and just swing up, and then power drive onto there. And by the time Hammond reaches this area, if your Diva boost is up, you'll land at the exact same time. And they'll be knocked into the air, and you can get lots of damage on them. If you're lucky, some of the tanks will drop and like fall down. You get some free picks. That's something to think about. Just because the walls on this map are very grappleable. That's not even a word. Right, it's very
I think
good.
that's a
For,
word.
it's very good for Hammond.
is
You can grapple here, get up to the high ground. You can grapple on this high ground, grapple to the other side. It's very easy to set up pincers, especially if you have a Genji.
Yeah, once-
Like if you like just grapple, power drive, Diva boosters in, Genji dashes through. That's like insta
Same thing,
80%
on
ult.
point
So
Cool, I'm On in. point.
Hey,
So
so
Zen Yada here, we can take it down. Nice, Zen's gone.
Fine,
Zen's
guys.
gone. Capturing McCree.
oh,
He's down.
nice.
Thank you.
What's been said so far?
Reinhardt.
Oh, do you have the link?
How bad
A
you
lot.
are.
I'm watching now.
Okay, cool.
Nice. Good,
Actually, just covered something that you should listen to.
I'm gonna push all the way.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the grappling
Yeah.
with the Hammond stuff.
Okay.
But we'll see in the one.
Dude, this is rough, man.
We'll see more.
Alright, got the Zen.
You got Zen?
Let's push in then. Got a pick.
I've got
Cool.
Hanzo at the back.
There we go. Up they go.
Right.
Warrior's almost down.
Yeah, it's good to like.
Nice,
Oh, whoops.
sorry.
It's good to initiate with that power
Chase
driver,
after.
like, cause you'll get it again very fast.
Nice.
It's good initial damage.
Zen's trying to got point pressure on Zen.
More,
Okay.
Warrior.
Right now.
Take your Zen.
No, you're
Reaper
good.
low, Reaper low.
Wow.
Yeah, Leaper dead.
Didn't mean to press that.
Hanzo's top right.
Hanzo down. Yeah, I'll show the browser thing.
Nice.
So you can keep it.
guys.
So is this your main tank player that just joined?
This is the
Uh,
Hammond Serpent.
This is
huh?
the Hammond, yeah.
Okay. If you want, actually, I can show you in a custom game lobby after this, like some Hammond
Yeah.
rollouts.
Sorry, low. That'd be great. Sorry, down.
Yeah, we've been like we experimented for like
Reaper,
every day
Reaper.
for 4 days.
Oh,
looking
nice.
at Reddit as well.
Reaper down.
Yeah, this is some nice stuff you can
Bombs.
do with Hammond.
Lucio's down.
This is good.
Moira now. It's a side.
Your target focus this time is actually
Yeah, it's heaps better.
I think it also helps that we were playing less,
Zarya.
more
Oh,
familiar
she almost-
character.
she
Like
just
no
went
Zarya,
down.
no Ana.
Yeah, she had to. She didn't have a choice.
Nice.
so it's good.
Reinhardt.
It's a good time.
I think
as well.
even compared to the first attack, though,
Maybe
the
just
target
the
calling was better.
balance of them charging through if you get in.
Oh, is this a Roadhog Diva comp?
Sorry.
But we need damage to follow up after that.
Oh, it's a triple tank.
Break.
Okay, wait.
Disrupt the-
Is that a Hammond as
I
well?
saw a Hammond as well.
It's a really weird comp. So you're playing a dive with a Roadhog and a Zenyatta. So it's you're kind of doing both at once again. Like your Hammond wants to be deleting someone and making lots of space far away and initiating. but your Hog and Zen wants to be free shooting, waiting for them to int into you. I say int into you, but it means like waiting for them to dive onto you, not knowing that if they dive you, you have the advantage. Like a Zen Discord with a Roadhog hook is very threatening. Like you have to be very cautious to dive into that. But because half of your resources are going to be diving and half of your resources are going to be stationary, it's going to be a bit harder to concentrate your resources and follow up calls. Like for example, if you're playing the full dive you were before, if you're like, oh, Winston over here, can your Roadhog or Zen get to that? Maybe your Zen can like shoot into it from far away, but it's not as powerful as saying, okay, Winston in over here, and then what if your Diva and Hammond are on something over there, and then you guys are calling two separate things, so then you fall into a trap of split resources.
Right.
So then you think about, okay, why don't we just play Hammond and Diva on point? If you're gonna run Hammond on point, you're not going to be using grapple as much. You're not going to be using power driver as much. You're not going to be using the mobility. So why don't you just run a Narissa instead, who excels in playing Brawl or maybe a Reinhardt? There's like in the pros and cons. If you want to do a stationary comp, there's heroes that have more resources for the cause. You sacrifice less. You sacrifice the dive aspect, but you have to think about: are we actually going to be playing dive, or are we actually going to be playing like Death Ball stationary comps? Because dive does work here. But it's just when you split your resources, it's there's like other comps and heroes that do it better. Yeah. So like standstill comps haven't. Yeah, if you think about it, it's like fine. But why don't you just run something that is really good at giving you sustain, like a Reiner and a Rissel?
If you can get a hook on the Rhine, that'd be nice actually. Just to really break that.
Hope that kind of makes sense.
The Zarya's on point.
Yeah.
Though,
I think this is
Yeah, it makes sense.
Jim trying to learn how to be a tank
Oof.
because he doesn't tank often.
Well, no, someone said we needed a Roadhog,
Front
so.
side, yeah, front side.
Going
Top lane.
Breaking.
Jim,
There we
the
go.
people pleaser.
Lucio going for Lucio.
Alright, right side.
It's good for your DPS players to learn some off tanks, so you can like. I think I already saw your like rotations. You have Gertz sometimes, so it's good to know that. Ideally, in these comps, you want to keep your off tank on the Diva, just because this person will have the most experience in eating ultimates, and knowing where to position as Diva, because it's actually a bit more complicated than the other tanks like Roadhog and Zarya. This Diva's more game changing.
Lucio, we're going for Lucio.
In
Pushing back. Put back.
more aspects, if that makes sense.
Lucio on point. Let Lucio's dead.
So like now you can see your Diva's scouting and finding something far away, but the target focus is on point.
Right.
Not saying it doesn't work, but you have
not optimal.
other. I mean, like there's other heroes that can do it better. If you just focus your resources. Yeah. Because like let's say they 6-man dive onto here and suddenly becomes a 5v6 or like even a 4v6 if your Hammond's not there. Then it becomes a big struggle for you guys.
Got him.
Oh,
Going through, pushing back. Zarya's been pushed back really far now.
Diva,
Hitting
Diva.
Zarya from behind.
Right now. Right.
There we go.
Nice.
There we
Because
go.
like you can
Zarya's
see, Diva's pretty good at peeling.
Zarya,
So-
yep, down, Zarya down.
But I guess
Nice.
other things can do it. But like
Sorry.
it's easier to peel with an
You
Orisa,
got Moira
obviously.
here, Moira.
Um,
Moira down. All right, they got they're
nice
now
hook.
probably.
Diva.
Yeah, they've been.
Nice hook.
Hook Jim.
So what you can do to maximize this stagger, you can actually both body block her from going back into spawn.
right.
Full matrix her as well.
Yep.
What you can even do if she's like really far in on point, you can let her remech, and then hook, and then once she flies out, you hook her back in, and then farm another mech.
Yeah.
So you can like really maximize the stagger,
I kind of like my little.
especially with like hook and boots. And,
Yeah, you do it, man. It's nice, man. The pile drive kind of unbalances. It slows down the Lucio push.
They've got a
Reaper
now. They didn't before.
Yeah, they have Reapers.
Left side.
Left
Sorry.
side.
Yeah, pushing hard.
Okay, pushing down. Boom. Got them again.
so pushing now, but these guys can't actually like really follow up.
Yeah, true.
Like if you had like a dive, you can like power driver. Okay, everyone's dead, and then reset.
And right.
Especially with the Discord, it's actually really
Yeah.
strong.
On port pressure.
That was a terrible
You can
pile drive
you can
anyway.
see well, You can see this Reaper, right? He gets discorded.
Pushing down, boom. Got them again.
That's like
On Ryan.
what, half a second, and he's already half health.
Mm.
Yeah. You can play a dive really strong, but since you're like a half
Reinhardt is
comp,
separated.
it's a bit
Reinhardt
harder.
is separated.
Yeah.
Reinhardt is down. Zarya is low.
Yep.
There we go. Pushing through.
Yeah,
getting them.
Zen's actually playing a dive Zen.
Alright.
It's huge.
Yeah, I did. That was a good time. I
He
really
likes
like that.
Jonak. Oh, just in time. Alright, regroup, hold together.
Yeah. There we go.
I'll
She's
push
dead.
forward.
Alright, they're now staggered.
No, fall back.
Pull back.
I got Valk.
Oh, am I gonna be able to do the exact same thing again? Push.
We were also trying new team
They're on
comms,
top now?
so we're getting
They're on
Serpent
top.
to make short calls and
They're
things in this
pushing,
match, if I recall
kinda
correctly.
busy a little bit. They're
Yeah,
coming
that's
to that
good.
top raid part.
Thank you, cool.
Moira's down.
It's actually better target focus despite not being a dive comp.
Ryan's low.
You're actually on the same targets, which is
Zarya?
an improvement from the
Zarya by herself?
first attack.
I wonder why that is. Why were we so bad at the first one?
Warm up.
Shield.
Always
Warm
warm
up.
up.
It was our first round, wasn't it? No, we'd already played.
No, Horizon
Reaper
was
to
the
right.
last one.
Reaper right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's our third map.
Mm.
Was it just because we were experimenting with other heroes? Like
Could be.
Zarya and the armor?
Because if you stop playing heroes that you can like for example, if I'm like a diva player and I have to play Zarya, I'll have to focus more on what am I actually bubbling and what
Playing
do I
the
have to
hero.
do, what do I have to do instead of
Right.
coming.
Shit, missed that one. That was a bad one. Oh, they popped the.
This is a nice one.
On Ryan.
They got the Mercy's Mercy charging Mercy. Mercy stopped from rezzing. Mercy's lost res.
It's actually
Yeah, Mercy. Mercy's really
well
low.
played.
Eaten.
Mercy's really low.
There you go. Eat it.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
good. They're like really good Shockler and what do you call it? Alt planner will be like, oh, the repass alt save your DM, or like they have barrage save your DM. I have barrage save your DM because this DM is like so strong. It can be used in like everything. You can eat alts as well. Then grab eat it.
Right.
Hmm.
Diva lost her mech.
Like even if you can't eat it, it's good to like say, I look out for this eat. Because if you know what you're looking out for, then the more chance you have of eating it. I'll skip forward.
Dude, I'm on.
I'll skip forward to the fights because I
He's
think
going left side. He's going top left.
you
He's
guys
going top left. So
said
careful.
you
I
said
saw Mercy go right.
Hmm.
He's going space. Alright, Ryan up. Bombs.
Got him.
Nice. Oh.
Mercy's under you, metal.
You see, against the Hammond, some teams don't know what to actually do. Like this ult is not game changing for their push. They can push infinite other ways, but they're like, oh, what do we do? There's bombs here that we were gonna push them. They don't know what to do because no one knows how to play against Hammond right now.
That's what Psycho was mentioning on our team.
Yeah.
He's a
Really low.
Hammond player.
Reinhardt's really low. There we go.
Like-
He's dead.
We need to learn how to.
Lucio,
When we're in that situation,
Mercy.
we freak out too.
Yeah,
But Ryan seems to work very well against it.
Lucio,
Just a couple of
almost dead.
swipes.
Lucio really low.
Cleans up the whole area for the ult.
you can even like just walk forward. Yeah, walk
Oh,
forward.
it was on the
Shield.
plane.
Oh, we shield up. Alright.
Same as like if your Zen is trancing and they drop bombs, your Zen can run into all of them in trance. and
Yeah,
clear
true.
it.
Full
Yeah.
speed Hammond through them seems to.
You
do
can
pretty
also
well.
you can charge your hog ult by vaping through it.
Oh yeah.
I learned
And-
the hard way Doomfist cannot rocket punch to it.
Yeah.
Trace of links aren't great either.
Yeah.
The good thing about the hog actually using the heal into it is that the Hammond doesn't get ult charge out of it, but you do.
Right.
True.
It's an ult, so
Yeah.
Yeah, nice work.
You can also charge like support ults from it, especially at ADA, because of the best healing.
Which one?
Early on.
Oh, far.
But I wouldn't use that as a win condition to run into mines.
Oh, this is where they changed.
This is the win condition.
Top left.
Yeah.
So here's a good place for pile driver bomb because something I think you guys know something that diva players do, especially like Lijiang and stuff. Once the Pharah uses boosters, you launch the bomb and then they
Oh,
can't
right.
get away from it.
Yeah.
So if you see like the fire, like a fire you shift and then your Hammond goes in to knock these guys up, you can get like a huge 6k.
Right.
Mm.
Alright. Oh, oof. Alright, pushed out half of the mounts to the space.
Alright,
Nice with hills.
some spades, guys. Me.
Yeah.
Like
Alright,
this
they're
guy's
now-
an easy
they're
kill.
now top
Yeah.
left, top left.
Top left, yeah.
Top left.
Good little pick.
Move them down the stairs if you can.
Ah, this guy gets speed drop fast.
Just need heal. I got my, oh wait, hold on.
Alright, get on point. Hold on point.
Sorry. Oh, Mercy.
Good response. It's good on point.
Reinhold.
Mercy down, nice.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Great.
Wow.
This is that double one. Exact same time.
Spro just like, woo!
Hold the point, Brad.
Oh, we need to get back in. I popped my
Well, everyone's coming from spawn now.
Oh man, I wish I hadn't done that.
It's a rush back. But I think we lose this. Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
1v1,
We do lose
but
this one, yeah.
That's fair.
Alright.
Again, you have to plan against those grabs because the
Mm.
game-changing ones.
Fire seat.
Yeah.
Karma. I'm going Mercy seat. Mercy breaker.
Mercy.
Wow, nice. That's good target focus.
Sorry, no bubble.
Pushing back. Reinhardt. Push right.
Oh, I should have
Get
eaten.
Rein. Shit.
Oh, that's good. Be ready.
I ran out right before it, yeah.
Shut
Almost
down.
down.
Just
Mm.
Nah, it's Lucio as well.
At least you're popped off. What the... This guy's a
Oh
god.
no, she got me.
Sprange will win for. Oh, never mind.
No,
Hey,
they got
man,
it.
don't
No,
be
they
like that.
actually
You knew
fucking
it was
got
gonna
it.
happen.
They got one push. They got 25 seconds, so they got it.
Don't put me on a pedestal.
Nice, Far's almost down. Far's dead. Nice.
This is where it's most important to be
Alright,
tracking
well, we're gonna
ults
have to-
because you just need to win
Yeah.
the one fight.
Over.
Mm.
Alright,
They're up top left.
They have no grav. They have
Not right.
this. You can actually
Yeah.
push early
It's
here.
going into
Let's
overtime now.
go. Like this is an easy
Just
win.
get the point.
They staggered into you. This is
Yeah,
an
yeah.
example of what I mean about like they if they go one at a time.
You say easy win.
Yeah, I
don't
think we
think-
lost this one.
I don't think we win.
Oh really? Oh no, not
That-
that
that happens.
Oh no.
Get the Reinhardt. He's super low. Yeah, nice.
Behind you.
Nice, I got. Come on, we can get there. We can get there. We can get there.
Oh.
Two
Come
health.
on, we can do this.
Fuel tank. Go, 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 go. Go metal, hit you.
I didn't have Q.
Mercy away from
Oh,
me.
that's eggs. That's eggs, sorry.
Oh, the barrage again. You're not ready
I
for
know.
these ults.
Mm.
On progress.
Far-
Like right now seems like okay, well, like oh yeah, panic onto point, la la la.
Mm.
But now is this is when you should be the merc focused, right? And
Mm.
all planning and target focus. Because this is where I think you guys panic a little bit.
Top on point, middle.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm ulting on point. Ulting on point.
Okay, cool.
Would it be better if you launched it straight up?
Nice rise down.
Maybe.
Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah, I guess.
It's very true.
We actually got
Yeah.
wrecked
I'm
tonight
trying to get that.
with a diva who was
so
up
low
on
HP
top of those
stats.
beams,
I'm down.
and she ulted
And then
and
dropped
and
it down.
pushed it off. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty.
How do you push it off?
That's
Yeah,
hit
yeah,
miss. You
yeah.
can nudge
Yeah,
it like a.
yeah.
Another diva bomb destroys you guys.
Yeah.
You need to be ready for this because like diva bomb and barrage are the two ults that you can really easily shut down, and
Mm.
but those are the two ults that have really high kill potential.
Yeah.
It's true.
She got
You
it
should be
again?
tracking those. It's actually really good for you guys.
Okay.
Eat this grav. She probably has another grav at this point.
We don't do much all tracking.
Oh my god.
I mean, you all tracked okay before, but when the situation gets stressful,
I solo grabbed there.
Just goes out the window. It's not comfortable enough.
let's try to get
Farsi
through
was
this
a pain in the
quickly.
ass. That was
Oh,
my
it's just the
thing.
attack.
Do I
so-
run soldier
For 4.
It's weird. I didn't know you guys play out maps in scrims.
Play out.
I guess you guys do
Oh,
like
yeah.
a basis.
That's it. Yeah. Doesn't work that way. That's fair. Alright, guys, let's go.
Alright.
I think it's good practice though
What's he
to
got?
like it's actually good to like have the goal of time,
Hmm.
especially in TCP.
Mm.
Oh, dude, they learned. They're learning. Holy shit. That shit's scary. Oh, they've gone the.
This is Zarya.
They've gone all Orisa and tankies
Lots
and
of
shit.
shields. Lots of shields.
Lots of shields. Yeah, cool.
Alright.
So Junkrat would be good actually.
Fire is good because I can just shoot straight.
Oh yeah, fire's good too. Okay, Mercy's on close to left side, back left,
That's good scouting.
back left, yeah, and the Zenyatta there too.
Drop
I'm just
the
gonna annoy them.
spam there. I'm jumping Mercy.
I'm going for Mercy now.
Yeah, same.
Mercy's up. Mercy's moved.
Nice.
Mercy's dead.
Yeah, it's like really easy to kill something, especially with a
Alright.
Pharah. The service is gonna be melted. Yeah, like this is really good now.
We're focusing. Sorry. Yep.
Ah, damn it! The Junkrat got me. He focused me. He's the second that trap goes off, he's like, oh,
Sen.
Hamaru.
Oh god.
I think this can still be a bit cleaner with your target focus.
I get a rest.
Especially if you have a Zen, you have a Zen, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Alright, I'm gonna keep them busy.
With the Discord targets, it's actually really easy to like melt anything, even tanks.
Mercy, just keep Mercy busy
Yeah,
there.
this is good. Do you guys have any questions to like finish up?
I do with Anna. Since she's got like the health added to her ult now, I kind of feel like it changes like kind of like the priority on like how you want to use your ult and stuff. And so I'm kind of leaves me a little bit like lost sometimes. I'm not sure like who to prioritize giving the boost to. So like someone who's trying to build an ult, a tank who's about to die or something, or like or yeah, if multiple like of those situations are happening at the same time, like, I don't really know where to go with it, you know. So
Okay,
like, yeah,
so
what a good uses for an Ana ult basically.
So basically with an Ana
Like
ult,
priority list.
if you think about what has actually changed with her, it's not really a change, it's more of like an addition. So you shouldn't think about it as like, oh, it's a different clause now. It's just like, oh, I have more flexibility to do this nano with.
Mm-hmm.
So saying that, okay, this burst healing is really good for tanks doesn't mean it's still good to nano a full health Genji that has blade, for example.
Yeah.
You can just be you're given more options, which I guess might be confusing you because you
Yeah,
can
it
there's no like one path like okay, more kill potential on the ults we have. For example, it's actually you use it now. One of the uses you can use is like a Brig armor pack. So for example, if your Pharah wants to barrage and she gets
right.
low, you can use it to burst heal a barrage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the advantage of that is that the nano, because you're not using nano at the beginning of barrage, the Pharah keeps the nano for after barrage as well, and she can build ult faster. So there's that. You can play nano like a primal. So these are just stuff that you can use nano with that are useful. But I don't know if this will confuse you more. Okay, I think I'll like go through a priority list after I list these. So you can use it like a what's it called? Did I say primal? If your Winston gets low, you nano him, and then he gets a lot of extra health. You can use it actually to bait your Zen. So if your Zen stands in a really open spot and they dive him and you nano him, it's actually very hard to kill him, especially if you put nade on him as well, like the grenade. So there's like other uses, I guess, more flexibility for Ana. What I think is that, especially on like 2CP, you shouldn't be too worried about the priority of nano because ideally you'll be building it every fight anyway.
Right.
And in that case, it becomes very flexible and more of a. It's like Valk, right? If you think about Valk, it's not really an ultimate that was like a game-changing ultimate, but it can help swing the fight a little bit to your favor because it's basically like a stronger ability. Because if you have it every fight, like a Valk, you'll have like every 1 or 1.5 fights. Maybe with the new Valk, 1.5 fights because it's like 22% slower now. Like building the Valk. But with an Ana, because you have it every fight, it's almost like a pulse bomb, right? It's basically not really counted as an ult. It's just part of Ana's kit.
Yeah. Okay.
So then, in that case, it's not really game changing whether like we have Nano Blade. I feel like I have to use it on our Winston. Doesn't mean you're throwing, right? It just means you used it on a different thing.
Okay. So you're saying I'm putting too much value into the choice, and I should just make it and make it fast, basically.
Yeah, I think one of the advantages of Ana's new Nano is that you have the flexibility of options. And I think you're taking that a bit as a weak point, even though like if I nano my Winston or nano my Blade, and you still get the offensive pressure, and then you'll get it again next fight anyway, ideally. So that's what I think. I think you just have to value the flexibility that you have with Ana now.
Okay. As a follow up, how often do you think I should be using the nano as a way to help build ult versus saving it for when I know like a tough fight is gonna come with like I don't know a big enemy ult combo or something like that.
So there's not really a ratio for it, but it's more down to your ult tracking. Like for example, like they are gonna use, like you can predict, like for example, they're gonna use trance this fight, and where we have a blade coming up next fight if I nano my Genji, or like next fight we'll dive in deep with this primal, so I'll like nano our Winston for primal. It's like
Okay.
it's just dependent on it's like really useful for ult tracking. It's really useful if you have ult tracking to use it to build ults. Otherwise, for offensive pressure, it's actually just really useful for the to boost the kill potential of setting ults like Barrage and Nano Blade and I don't know Symmetra. Like I've seen that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me it comes from a point because I'm a Zen main and I'm used to holding a trance or to counter like an enemy ult or something and using it defensively.
Yeah.
That might even be a bad mindset in and of itself. But yeah, like coming to Ana from that, you kind of I feel like I have a bit of option paralysis.
Like for example, even Zen players that move to Lucio, because Lucio beat is very different to a trance because it gives you health instead of stops you from losing health. I can see your emojis in this Vaz. Yeah. So yeah. I hope that kind of
No, it does
gives you an
actually.
idea.
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much.
Is there any more questions?
There we go. So what did you have any more tips for the Hammond? That was.
Yeah,
'Cause
sure.
I missed that beginning part. So.
If you want, I don't know if you have to go now or anyone has to go now. Yeah, I guess we can do like follow-up questions before. I can show you in a custom game if you want.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
sure.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. So, any other follow-up questions before we jump into that? Nope. No one.
I'll just send you my BNet and you
Yeah,
can
awesome.
add me here.
Yep, I'll do that now.
Sweet.
Do you have any tips around how to improve our comms? I know you're saying just talk more. Is there like some drills, or is it literally just talk?
I reckon we should watch other people's scrims and whatever and see how they come, and that would like help us. That's just me though. Like I was watching Team Canada scrim and I got some good ideas off them, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be good. It's pretty hard to get there. Honestly, if you guys want, you can look up my team schedule and like if you're free, you can like come sit in one of our scrims. Because we're running a lot of Doom for Summer right now, which is very elite get out comp. So it's very focused on target calling, scouting, all of that stuff. So that might come of use to you. So you guys are free to join those if you want. So I have a map talk preset.
That'd be good.
So you can just invite people to this.
Yeah. Just to group.
Oh, whoops.
I like your new attempt at a tentacle profile pic there, sir.
I try to fit in with them.
Did it go well?
No, horrible. But we tried. We tried.
That's Hachimari. Is that your picture?
Oh wait, that's the wrong side. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a little floaty one with like little, I don't know.
Are you guys jumping in game, by the way? Because we're in the custom.
I'm not going to.
Yeah, so you guys can watch if you. I can put you in spec. I don't mind. Like how you guys want to do this.
No.
Yeah, maybe chuck us in spec.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll need to head off, guys.
Oh, see you, Metal.
Yeah,
Thanks,
see you
Mike.
guys.
We're recording it, so we'll share that with you later. If you want.
Sweet. Sounds good.
Need spectator spots.
Just me.
Okay. Oh, whoops.
What? Cool.
Sorry, I need to add more spectator spots.
Good.
I'll head off now. Thanks for letting me listen to this.
Pleasure. Take
See ya,
care.
Emily.
Thanks,
Bye,
see ya.
Emily / Julie.
Bye, Michaela.
Slash Mao.
Slash Mao.
Alright, see you guys.
See ya.
That's advantage.
I need to restart again.
Yeah. Thanks so much for this. I'm gonna bounce too.
Alright, catch you
So,
soon. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
Enjoy
thanks
well.
for the coaching gel. Like it's super useful, super
That's
informative.
fine.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. We hope that you'll continue.
Yeah,
with
it's
us.
good. Okay,
Good one.
I think you guys can watch me now.
Yes.
So, the grapple, so this is like an example of a few rollouts, right? So as soon as you come out of spawn, you can just like go fast. If you can see, look at my point of view.
Yep. F7 to lock in, I guess.
Yeah. So
space
you can see, I can actually see most things from here.
Yeah.
Even from here, like without even showing them I'm Hammond, I can like already see a lot of things.
Peek quite a bit.
Yeah, so I prefer this side actually.
Okay.
Just because it's more optimal for people to be holding there than there. I mean, like it's the more favored side. Actually, against your other team tonight, they actually held this side. So I guess it depends on the team. So the rollout you can do is just grapple onto here, and then like kind of go over and do this. So
Yeah, sure.
that's like really strong.
Okay.
Forces them off this high ground. The other one for the other side, the reason why this map's really good is because it has just all of these grapple spots.
Yeah, a lot of high positions to work with, right?
Yeah. And if you press E into a team that's here, that's like automatic 1000.
1,300 is it?
Yeah, something like that. So it's really strong.
Yeah.
So there's the two main rollouts because that's where they'll mainly be hiding. Just remember to like be using these things.
Yeah.
What
is just from your perspective? What is the purpose of Hammond? Because I play him very aggressively, but I play him also very guerrilla warfare. Like I go in, I drop, I shoot a little bit, but I get out as quickly as possible as well, not to stay there too long to get focused down.
Okay.
How do you suggest playing it?
Well, in this situation, right? Ideally, you won't have to be getting out because you'll be getting one or at least two picks from here, which means you just be going in and in and in and in and in, and you can like continue making space like this. Like, if you get the picks, then it becomes a 4v6, and then like you'll be winning all those times anyway.
Yeah, banana. Okay, yeah, true. Okay, right. Okay, something I have to learn. That's something I have to work on because I've been obviously when you're playing on quick play and stuff like that and kind of learning it, you don't. Yeah, I think I picked up those habits because you know you're not going to get support online. So you play very, guerrilla warfare where you go in, you hit, you create a bit of chaos, you shoot somebody, you try to get somebody at least, but then you get out as quickly as possible as well. But yeah, fair enough. Okay.
I think there's a way to get up here, but this place is actually really strong as well. I've never tried this. Are those toys? Anyway, yeah. There's a few other rollouts actually. I don't know if Hanamura is in your map pool, but just an example, right? Oh, it's the wrong thing. Just show you more examples. Like you can like find these on Reddit, find it on YouTube. They have like a bunch of rollouts. But it's actually really strong as Hammond because, for example, like this one,
F7.
So I don't know if you can see me now. Just some of you guys already. I think it's this one where you can just like come out of nowhere through. I missed. But
okay, I get the idea. Yeah.
Yeah, like it works really well because if you're standing where I am and I just see a Hammond going through there, there's not much I can do to defend myself immediately.
Yeah, true.
So the advantage of Hammond is actually just because you don't see it coming as much as a Winston. Pretty sure there's one here as well. No. But yeah, there's like a few on Reddit and stuff. I can try to find that one. Mini showed me this one.
Psycho knows a lot of them as well. He's been researching this.
Yeah, right.
Oh no. Okay. There's a cool thing with Hammond here. Like, just for another example, I won't do that thing again.
Yep.
There's like this one. You just have to think about like where will they normally be?
Be standing. Where are they normally be standing?
Yeah, I forgot how to actually.
Bolt through there.
Oh yeah. There's like that one. If you make it a bit shorter,
Yeah.
if you manage to make this outside one, which lands here, I think if you grab onto that, you can swing over here, and you can actually make this jump here. Whoops.
Oh, with enough speed, or just straight away.
No, I think you can just do it immediately.
Huh. Okay.
You actually can. You can tell I don't play much Hammond, but I do have main tanks that know how to play this hero. But yeah, it's good to know these. Yeah.
There we go. Nice.
It's good to know these.
Yeah,
things,
that's cool.
The Hammond
It's a
rule,
lot
because
more
like
mobility.
again, if a Hammond comes from there, you won't see it coming. So the main advantage for Hammond is being able to not see it coming.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, just as a basis.
Yeah.
And what you mentioned before with the idea of Hammond dives in and gets 2 picks, that's not solo 2 picks. That's because
Oh no, because,
Everyone goes with you.
Dude, I need to work on my aim. Okay, he's the gym. We're gonna work really hard. Be able to take on the whole team by himself. Yeah. So yeah, jumping on as well.
Yeah, I think if you jump in and then just roll away, then, I mean, like, how often does that secure a kill?
Not often, no.
well, if
Just
you
roll
do
away.
get the kills, there wouldn't be much point rolling away, especially with like the extra 600 health or whatever.
Yeah, that's the other thing. If you get a kill, like if everyone follows you, the idea is that, okay, sure, if everyone turns around and shoots you and you've popped your shield, then one of them should die before you do. Just because of health. But yeah, if you do manage to get a pick, then why roll away after that when your team's 6v5?
So commit once you do it.
I understand what you're saying, like the quick play thing. You know, like you can't depend on your teammates. Like that's
but
totally
this one,
true.
to stay there and anchor in basically and be like, this is where I land and this is where I stand and I'm gonna start shooting.
Yeah, and your friends should
Yeah.
know. Like you should, like you've said, oh, I'm going for Moira or something, right? All of your friends should automatically be looking for her. And even if they can't see her, you know, you just sort of charge in the general direction and hope you find her.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You don't have any other questions? I think we've burnt enough of your time, probably.
No, it's fine. I'm probably gonna stay up. I haven't played much. I haven't played much. Season's ending. I think I'm like in diamond right now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Decayed a little bit. Might try to get
Yeah,
back up.
we decayed as well, but mainly because we played, not because time passed. That makes sense.